Hey everyone, it's Kay from the Papershed UK. I'm back and I'm very excited to bring part 2 of the old school detective series. I'm following along with Mandy at Sunflower and Doors and I'm loving it. So this is where we got to on part 1. We just did the spines. I did mine with a grey tape. And to be honest, I wasn't actually that happy with it when I finished. So, of course I did. I went out and went to the charity shop and I got another one. So I got a set of books to redo. Um, so I'm going to use this one as my ideas and how to implement it and what to do with it. So I've already got up to a place with that one. And I'm then going to bring it onto video on here. So I've got to say as well, this is how often I change my mind. I am not overly keen on this fabric that I've used. I used a silk and linen mixed fabric, which was an old blouse, and I knew that it wasn't going to be strong enough to hold this lap book. So I actually put some of this material into the middle spine. So I cut this out, I put it in first, and then I just covered it with the fabric that I wanted. I wanted to have a sort of raggedy ends to the fabric, which I've got, but that was the reason I didn't just use this. So I sort of have achieved it, but now that I've done it, and I'm quite happy that it's bubbled as well. It's not, that doesn't bother me at all because of how old the book is meant to be. So I just wish though that I'd done it in a darker fabric, in a black or maybe a navy. But we're going to see how we go. I mean, it's going to have to be grunged up because I can't leave it that colour. I'm just not happy with it. But then in saying that, now that I've started working this feels great. It just feels fab. And what I like about this book is because it was so old, all the corners had gone, and I were looking at it thinking, oh, well, I can cover that up. But you know what? I don't want to cover it up. I've looked at it and I just thought, no, that's how old it would look. That's how it would look if it was from 1888, which is the year of the deaths of my murders. So I don't know, I'm just liking it. I mean, I've grunged it up a little bit just to say. So I may just well prefer this one when I've finished, but for now we're going to video with this one. So to get us started, I've done the front and the back cover already because you don't really need to see me gluing pages on. So I've opened it. That's my inside. This is an outside. This one is going on the front of my cover. So that's how it will look when it's obviously filled up. I've made my spine. I need to close that. I've made my insert for this first page, and I've already put the papers on them, but only because you know how to put paper onto your work. What I've done though is I've made a file here because my book is slightly narrower. I couldn't do the layout of what I wanted to put in for the murders, so I created a file like this, which is more or less what it would be anyway. So that's my file, and then you turn it over. This is going to contain my murders on there, and then this is my other piece. So I've covered it with all the papers, and then that's all I've actually done. But you don't need to see me inking those or gluing them on, so I just thought I'd glue. and then work on that inner page section. So I can feel my spine there, so I'm going to put that, go top to bottom. So I'm going to just lift that up and glue that down. So yeah, so I went to the charity shop. I actually had some good buys actually. The blouse that I've used for this for the spines on this was a silk and linen fabric. And I bought it because it had some beautiful lace pieces on it. I'll show you in just a jiff when I've got this in the right place. Just need to make sure that that's in the right place down there now. And I had a couple of other good buys as well. So I was quite chuffed. I'll just show you the pieces. I actually got 14 off of it. So these were them. And they're so pretty. I mean, look at that. Isn't that stunning? And it was £2, and I've managed to take 14 off of it and use it for my spine. So bargain. Okay. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in. But what I want to do is I want to make it a closure, an elastic closure. And I've seen them in quite a few places and thought, oh, I'll give that a go. And I quite like the idea. So this is my top secret envelope. These are my pieces to hold my elastic. So these are just 2-inch circles. I've scored them down the middle to make them like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one here, just a little way from the top, and one there, and the same on the bottom to create my closure. Well, it's not a closure. What is it? Elastic. So I'm going to do that now, and then I can get that paper put in. Same with this one. And this one. So yeah, I've just doubled up on 2 circles. I've stuck them together, then I've scored them in half and popped holes in them and put some eyelets in. And then that's what's going to hold my elastic. And yeah, so that's what's going to hold my elastic. So before we do anything else, I have to make sure they're all stuck down. So what we're going to do next is make this. Now I made this out of a large, not large, just a normal size file folder. I'm just going to move this out of the way just for a second. Just for a second to let that dry. So I've got my file folder, just run over it with my chair because it was on the floor. And the size that I want this envelope, because of it being, it's a narrower book than the other one. So I want this to be 6.5 wide by 9.25 long. And we're just going to do that by folding it. So I'm going to fold my first bit in, and I'm just going to crease that line down for now. And then I need to do it on this scoreboard just because I can measure it properly on that. So I want this to end up being 6.5. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that to the side like so and bring all of that paper down. Okay, and then if you go back, you need to leave at least a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to fold down there because that's going to be my joining line. Okay, so that's all I've done. So that's how I work out how wide I want my policy envelope to be. So if you're doing it on a bigger scale, this is how I like to do it. So that is a cut line. Okay, so we're going to cut that. And let's, while we've got this out, I will just mark that straight. But it'll cut out anyway, so that's fine. So I'm just going to mark, I need a 2-inch score line for this flap, and I need a 1/2 inch for that. I need it to be 9.25. So it's got to be 9, 10, 11.25, and then I want another 1/2 inch. That's right. Where's my pencil? Right, so that's my flap. Then I want it to be 9.25. So that's 1 and 2. So that takes you to 11.25. And then this bit here, your little bit, is a 1/2 inch. So you want it to be there. So that's where your cut line is to do the bottom bit. So just so that we're on the same page, and while I've got that out, I'm just going to open it up and score those 2-inch, that 2-inch mark a few times, and I'm going to score it at, what did we say? There. No, we didn't. That's my cut mark, isn't it? Is it? Yeah, that's my cut mark. So I wanted it 11.25. Sorry. So 11.25. You want that there. So I'm just going to do that a few times. So now I can get rid of that. I'll bring in my cutter so that I can cut that end off. What I can't use this to cut that long piece off, so I'll just have to do that on my bigger one. I'll just bring that in just to cut that off. So, okay. All right, so we're done. So that's the basis of your policy envelope, or in this case, it's going to be a top secret envelope. So what I do now is I open it up. You can score these marks in because they're definite now. You're done with that being over a little bit, but I don't mind it being off centre. So we open it up, we get the back piece. Doesn't matter whether it's back or front. What you're going to do is you're just concentrating on this one and this one because these need removing. So your 4 outer score lines need removing, your 2 insides you need to keep. But what you need to do is you need to do it as a wedge. Okay, so you're just going to do it as a wedge, just eyeballing it, cut it to that line, turn it around, do the same with this. Obviously your wedge doesn't need to be as wide, and there you go. Then what you're going to do, your top bit, so your wider piece here, you're going to actually cut that at a slight wedge as well, right into that corner, and the same on this side. You're just going to cut a little wedge right into that corner. You're not throwing those away because you need them in a minute. And then you do the same with this. You can just cut just above the score line because it's going to be covered up. You haven't got to worry whether it's straight or not. So all you're doing is you're cutting out that score line. So just going just above it. Okay, so now you've got your policy envelope. This one then gets pulled up to the bottom piece. Oh, I must have left a bigger. It doesn't really matter. And then you've got your flap here. Okay. So there's the basis of your envelope. Before you stick it down, you're going to need a circle punch, and I am just using a 1 inch. And you need, how many did I do these? I think I did 3 for each one. 4, 5 and 6. That now is rubbish. And then just what I like to do is just on the behind the this isn't very sharp. You know what I mean? So you've got you're going to need to do that in 3s as well, I think, because it's not very thick. Unless you've got something thicker that you can cut out. There you go. Actually, these are thicker. So that's rubbish now as well. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to glue those together. I'm going to use art glitter. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to get them. These little ones are going behind the bigger ones, and it just gives it enough standoff so that when you put your string round, it helps with the string. Let's glue these ones. Okay. I've got my fingers covered in glue. And we're going to do the same with these. So I'm just going to stick these ones together. You know how this works. I don't really need to be showing you this either. But it's part of the envelope, so we will carry on. Okay, so you've got your buttons and they're your backs. So I'm going to get a couple of brads out in a colour. We'll just go with some this black. I suppose we could use black. I don't use black very often, so we'll use them. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to find the middle to that. Okay, is that right? Absolutely not. Oh dear, I can't cut a straight line, and I can't draw a straight line, and I don't know what it is. These ones aren't as important really, but I mean, if you can get it in the middle, all the better. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle to my flap. There's the middle to that, so it's got to be there, so that's up. You're going to be putting it in the middle, so about there, yeah, and make a hole in that. And then with this, all you're going to do is you're going to line this up with that and that, and then we're going to get that in a straight line down there, and we're probably going to put it about here. So that's where that one's going. Okay, so let's just ink them. And then all we do is we pop that on. We pop one of those on the back. Yep. And I'm just going to pop that into two of those, like so. We're going to pop that one onto there and just do that. I'm going to pop this one onto there and do that. Okay, we're going to get a piece of the card again, and we're going to cut out a couple of more inches, and we're just going to glue those on the back of the brads for now. Okay, plenty of glue, just press it in, just so that it doesn't get caught on anything when you put things in and out of your envelope. Make sure it's all down, no open bits. That's it. Perfect. This one is the same. And we're just gonna pull that one down as well, securing both of those. That's it. Then what we do is is that going to be on the outside? No, that's going to be on the inside. So you put a piece down here, all the way down to the bottom, and then you do the same on this edge here, all the way down to the bottom. Okay, and then you just need to be careful with that because that's in the way. So there we go. Yeah, and then we're going to do this one. Now I rounded the corners off of mine. You don't have to. You can just leave them straight. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to take the glue from there. That was a bit much. Never mind. Not going anywhere, is it? It's because I've just filled the bottle. So apologies for the mess. Okay, we're just going to go down that one in the middle as well. There. There we go. It's all still open right to the bottom. I'm going to just do these as corners as well. There you go. Stick your string around any string you like, or whatever you've got, and there you've got. So you can use anything to do that. You can use embroidery thread, twine, ribbon, depends how fancy you want it. And then because you've put those things, it'll leave you a gap here, which is always quite nice. So that's the policy envelope. I've then just distressed obviously around the edges in the back, and so we're ready now to pop that in. So let's get this out. Those should now be dry. So we'll take those off and check those. There we go. They're nice and secure. And then that's going to be fitted into there. Like so. So we'll get that glued in. So yeah, and the papers up to this kit are absolutely stunning, and there's so much thought gone into it. I mean, I have had a quick look really at her. Sorry about my croaky voice. I have had a look at her other. She's got so many great ideas. There's a fabulous Da Vinci kit that I wouldn't mind. There's she's got just loads. There's fantasy. There's all sorts. If you've never been on her site, because I mean, like Mandy said, this kit was actually quite pricey if you had the full kit. She does do a, oh, it's very close to that. She does do smaller ones. There we go. Slightly smaller ones, which is good. But the thing is, when you know that there's other things in other ones, you think, oh, I want that one, because you want this bit of ephemera or that bit of ephemera. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed with the kit. It's quite nice. The papers are beautiful, and so is the ephemera. So that's going to sit in there. I am going to decorate that up eventually. And then we're just going to stick some wires in. Wires? Not wires, elastic. So I'm just going to recrease these down. So I've just trimmed a little bit because I hadn't cleared that enough, but that's fine now. Okay, and what we're going down, down. Always go from the top. It helps it lie flatter. Do it from the top. Okay, so scissors, pop that away, and then we're just going to pull quite considerable. Yeah, quite considerable, and then we're gonna tie it off. And now we're going to cut those off quite close. I do too. I must have done. Okay, so we've got that done. And all we're going to do is we're just going to hide that behind there. There we go. So that's the elastic closure, and that's going to sit inside there. So that's that page done. Then we're going to open this up, and we're now going to open that up, and we're going to now put our victims into place. I have to work out who was first. I've got them in order, I think. So it's that one, and that one is on the other page, I think. There's this man here. That's right. So the lady was first, and the man second. So this is Mary Nichols. She is an actual murder victim. These pictures are from the kit. They're not the original victims. I've actually done it on sort of Jack the Ripper murders. So this right up here is actually an extract from the Discovery. So Mary Nichols was a 43-year-old female married with 5 children, and she was the first victim of Jack the Ripper. So this was the original photograph from the Jack the Ripper murders. So I am going to put those on like that. And then I've made these little, it's not a booklet, it's a pull out. I don't think I've put them the right way actually. So that, yeah, so that needs to go out, in and out. There we go. So I've just made a pull out for journaling spots on these. So meet Mary. I think she looks very nice actually. And then this is how my layout is going to be for the 4 murders. This gentleman here, who again is from the kit, here I've changed his name, but the actual write-ups are about the next, and the actual crime scene pictures as well. So he's going to go there. I want to go over my stitching, but I'm going to have to because this is much more narrower. And then this is the same, so I've made this one into the same, so it's a pull out for journaling spaces, and that's going to go there. So we're going to get those stuck in, and this will be the start of it all. It's been so nice to actually do some research and look into it all. I'm really, really enjoying it at the moment. To actually get some newspaper clippings and that sort of thing from the original investigations on this. I'm just allowing that to dry a little bit, and what I'll do is I'll get these put in, or this one put in. About there, I think. The thing I did as well, I wanted some old, what do you call it? Sellotape. And I watched a thing on Nick the Booksmith, and she did this from one of her subscribers who had written to her to tell her how to do it. Now, I didn't have many colours to do that with because I don't have alcohol inks as such. So I managed to do that, and actually when I put it on the paper, you'll see how good it actually looks. I was quite surprised. There we go, that's that. So I do want to put that underneath there. So I will. There you go. And I'll just show you that sellotape. And all you do, it's on a backing sheet that is like waxed. I can't remember where I had this one from. And all you do is you take it up, it stays quite sticky. Take it up, cut a piece off. You know, years ago the tape used to be quite thin, so I've been cutting mine in half, or cutting some off of it. Okay, and then if you put that down there, I think that's magic. It's really good. I'm liking that a lot. It's so simple as well to do. It's dead easy, and it takes minutes, and because it doesn't take long to dry, because it's a alcohol ink, so they dry quite quickly. And then we're going to pop that one there. Make sure it's straight. I'll move that then. So I'll just get this one stuck in. I think I'm going to have to put that in first because to be a bit like that. I think it looks pretty cool. What do you think? I mean, She did actually make hers quite dark. I don't want it to be that high. Let's see. Oh, that's better. Yeah, she made hers quite dark. To be honest, I've always thought they're quite yellowy rather than you know, a mingy brown. But I've got some yellow tone, like a darker yellow, and I've got some alcohol inks that I've made up myself. So I just used a bit of green just to get the speckle, but the way that it actually comes out is fabulous. I'm going to use a bit more on that. We'll carry on with this one. And you can just keep it on there. And then obviously when you need more, you just redo it. There we go. So I'm going to pop that into there, like so. And that one into there, like so. I'm really liking the look of that. I think it looks great. So yeah, and then what I decided is because the books, because this is on a flap, this flaps forward. So I did need to have it closed. So I found some numbers in the kit, and I just thought I'll use those. So I'm just going to ink them because I've only done this morning. So I just ink these up so they're ready for the other pictures. Okay, so I'm thinking of just popping those on somewhere. So yeah, so we're just going to pop that there, like so. Hold that down for a minute. So this is the second one. So that's the first murder. This is the second murder. And I'm just going to put this one slightly lower down. Yep. And then that will open. You can take that out right on it, hold it back up, and then you can pop that under there then. So yeah, so that's my first two murders in. So yeah, so I've opened that up, and then this then becomes my third, which is Meet Charles and Robert. So for Charles, but obviously his name has changed and is a male. The crime scene itself is the right one for the third murder. So he's going to go here, and this is going to go there, and then this is going to go here. And then our last and final victim, 21-year-old, unmarried male, Robert Clive Napper. I like to just put it down on a different place. It's not all. So fabulous. I love it. So I can't wait for the next instalment of that. So that's really good. I'll just show you that I have actually done exactly the same in here. So this is my envelope and my elastic closure. File folder with connection, in other words, a connection. I've done exactly the same here with the information and the numbers and the properties that they were found. And I've done exactly the same here. So this is the layout that I had in the larger book. So it's yeah, it's been great. I've absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. It's consuming at the moment because it's taking so much time. Because of actually doing all of the research that goes along with it and everything else, it's been quite time consuming, but it's so worth it. I just love looking at it. Brilliant. So yeah, let's just make sure they're stuck. There you go. Pull out your journaling spot, and there you have a closure for that, so that when you do that, it's not falling on this one. So that's cool. So me and Mandy at the same spot at the moment, so I'll be working on my next lot, and then hopefully on Tuesday when Mandy brings her third one out, I'll be following shortly after with mine. So I hope you have a really good weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.